Hallo und gute Nacht or guten Tag, depending on when you want to wake up and watch this video. You probably know who I am because I am some crazy, sexy, cool hotshot, a bit of an internet celebrity thanks to the Time Teller channel. The name's Dr. Corbin Poopsreich, not to be confused with Professor Finkel Poopschmier. He is not a medical doctor and he shall not be respected. I have been asked to come on the channel once again and explain what is going on with the Time Teller and his triumphant return and recovery with his skeleton. Yes, we're talking skeletons today. So, for this, I will show you this blueprint, a schematic of the human form. We can see that the leg bone is connected to the other leg bone, and that upper leg bones are connected to the, it's like where the private parts, probably is like penis or something, and he didn't hurt anything up there, also, I don't want to make any assumptions, like, it's a little blue pill, I'm just kidding, I haven't prescribed that for him, I think his twig and bear is working just fine. But he did damage his skeleton pretty bad down by the lower areas, fibula, tibula, a lot of different bones, and they're not all good. And I know in America there's an expression, oh, he doesn't have a bad bone in his body, but the truth is, after the Time Teller got run over, so a few of his bones were pretty bad, actually. So it's time they come together, which is actually a nice example that we can use for humanity, regardless of which side of the aisle you are on. Regardless of what ethnicity you are, Asian, Black, Hispanic, or normal, you can just come together and love one another.
Alright, speaking of skeletons, why don't we take a look at a few skeleton watches? It is 4:35 p.m. Let's get down to business. Okay, so in honor of my skeletal injury kind of healing up for the most part, I'm still hobbling around with a cane, but whatever. I want to talk about a few really cool skeleton watches from Lexstep, their Traverse series. Now, my viewers will know I kind of did a short introduction to this watch when I first got them, like a few months ago, like right when I broke my leg, and I kind of want to revisit those watches because there's a few things that I think are really cool that I want to highlight kind of more in depth. So jumping into the specs, we have a 43.8 by 40 millimeter case. This watch is surrounded by K9 crystal. We're going to talk about that in a moment. It's 12.2 millimeters thick. It's got a 30 meter water resistance rating with a push-pull crown at the 6 o'clock, and the watch weighs 30 grams. Now, I had a few questions about this watch's movement, and unfortunately, it is unspecified. It is an automatic movement, and here's what I know, okay? 21,600 VPH sweep, 36-hour power reserve, and it is non-hacking. Now, there's a few really cool things about these watches that you may have missed in that first introductory review. As mentioned before, this watch has K9 crystal going all throughout the case, wrapping around 360 degrees, and it is not really anything I've ever seen before. Now, Lexstep, the watchmaker, says that they've done this to kind of play off the Traverse name. They want to talk about traversing through time, and this kind of infinite wraparound of this crystal is supposed to signify time travel. Now, one very interesting thing for me is that the push-pull crown is at 6 o'clock. You'd think it'd kind of be weird and cumbersome having a crown sticking out at the bottom of your watch, but actually it's not bad at all. One design cue that really makes this watch seem very interesting, kind of industrial yet futuristic, is the crossbar kind of parallel bar framing going on with the case, and at the top of the case and bottom actually you see some screw heads, and they are finished nicely. Nothing is really marred up, there's no real tool marks, but it gives it again a very industrial look while maintaining some refinement. It's not like totally out of place, and again it kind of gives this almost scroll look where these two kind of screws buckaroos are the beams of the scroll, and then this crystal kind of just wraps around. It's very cool, honestly. Now, there are a few things to mention when it comes to picking up these watches for yourself, and just some things you should take into consideration. So if you have more slender wrists, okay, this case design with the dimensions are definitely something to pay attention to. It's not huge and cumbersome. In fact, the 30-gram weight makes it pretty light on the wrist. It doesn't feel like you're wearing a huge, like, honking piece of material. And the strap is very supple and very comfortable, but it is still a large, essentially square watch on your wrist. So if you're a smaller dude, maybe consider that. Next thing to consider, there's no real lume on this watch at all. I thought that there was lume on the handset, ends up doesn't glow. So yeah, this isn't really like a sports watch, low light watch. And the last thing to take into consideration if you're interested in picking one of these up is that the watch overall is very affordable for what you get. You're getting something that has a very unique design, not something you ever see, you know, when you're going out looking at watches with the crystal wrapping around 360 degrees. It's just a very interesting take on a futuristic watch design. And the launch special, like super early bird special, is under $300. It's 269 buckaroos, and I'll leave a link to this Lexstep website and the Kickstarter in the description below, so check it out. So guys, let me know what you think. Would you ever wear the Lexstep? Do you understand what they're going for with the kind of time travel, futuristic, infinite design? Or is it something that you kind of look at as a moving piece of art? Because after all, when it comes to these kind of interesting, unique designs, like Jacob & Co. or other watches that are almost fully transparent, you kind of got to look at it as like a mobile, as something that is kind of a moving work of art. So leave me that comment, let me know what you think, and click the link in the description if you want to learn more about the Lexstep Traverse. All right, guys, I will catch you on the next one. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, and I'm very happy to be back in the office hanging out with you. And always remember, I didn't invent time, I just tell it.
Anyway, skeletons are pretty cool if you ask me. I mean, I'm a doctor, so obviously I think skeletons are pretty cool. But, you know, also almost got my medical license removed because I was playing with the skeletons a little bit too much. Skeletons that were not mine, going to the graveyard, hanging out with skeletons, talking to people that weren't there. I'm just trying to continue my medical education. People don't appreciate it as much as they used to. But I feel like if I was alive during, you know, the Renaissance or something like that, people would really appreciate my academic prowess and the things that I have risked to learn more about human anatomy. I put cameras once in a public restroom, not a male one, you know, just females. I'm not gay, but not that there's anything wrong with that. Okay, cut.